Let's turn to the one and only Steve Gruber and get his reaction. Steve is the host of Real America's Voice Live. Steve, thanks so much for joining us today. So you heard her threats. How will this play out?
Well, here's the thing. Joe Biden's got problems all over the map, which is you guys just explained pretty well. There's problems with donors. There's problems with support. There's problems with black voters, Hispanic voters. There's problems with the Muslim voters. There's problems everywhere you look for Joe Biden. It comes down to Bidenomics. It doesn't matter if you're black or white or Muslim. Milk still costs what it costs. Eggs cost what they cost. The headline on Politico today, just moments ago, Dems in full-blown freak out over Biden. Yeah, they're scared to death, which is why, make no mistake, there's going to be a debate on June the 27th. The real question is, can Joe Biden survive that? That's where they are in the conversation. They're putting him out there. We've never seen debates in June or July or August, for that matter. They're putting him out there in June to see if he can perform and survive and overcome and be able to stand on the stage with Donald Trump. And I'm guessing that many of the people on the Democrats behind the curtain don't think he can. And they're already plan B gaming all of this. They're gaming all of this to figure out who can be in position. Now, I've told you before, I believe it's Gretchen Whitmer, the most likely Democrat to step up, but there's others that could, try to step up on stage and be the candidate. But I think it creates big chaos for the Democrats. Joe Biden's weakness on domestic policy, foreign policy, the economy, the foreign wars, all of those things, whether it's Israel or Ukraine, all those things have a totality on the voters. And when I look to the Real Clear Politics average, his approval rating is at 40% exactly today, up from 30 days, but he is just mired at 38, 39, 40%. He can't get past that. He can't get traction. And Nate Silver from 538 said over the weekend, if Joe Biden cannot get traction by August, you got to get out of the race. And I think that Nate Silver's, using the megaphone to say, look, dude, you can't win and you're not going to win. Brand new polling from Cook Political shows Donald Trump winning in all states except Wisconsin, where he's tied. And Cook Political, not exactly the bastion of conservative polling. In fact, quite the opposite. And they all say that Joe Biden is getting creamed everywhere you look. And so they've got real problems from Politico to Cook Political to Nate Silver. Problems everywhere.
What about Michigan, where you are, Steve? I mean, Rashida Tlaib, obviously from Michigan. She keeps saying, you better watch out, as we just played that clip. We're going to make our voices heard in November. I mean, and by the way, she always looks like she's crying. Like, cry me a river to the sea. Give me a break. These people are a piece of work.
Yeah, I think that I just talked to Pete Hoekstra this morning. He's a former House Intelligence Committee chair, spent 18 years in Congress representing the state of Michigan, was the ambassador to the Netherlands under Donald Trump, and he is now the Republican chair in Michigan. And he says right now we're winning, and we're going to keep winning. And here's the thing. Talk about money, because a lot of conversation about money. In the last month, the Trump team outraised the Biden team considerably, tens of millions of dollars. But overall, there's almost $200 million in the Biden war chest. But the problem is, when you have to defend Minnesota, when you have to defend New Hampshire, when you have to defend Virginia, these are places that should just be locked up, and they're not. Minnesota's a 2-point race right now, which means these Democrats with all of this money are going into places to spend money like the South Bronx or the Jersey Shore to make sure they don't lose seats in Congress as well, which they certainly could. So Democrats might have an advantage in money right now, but their messaging is abysmal, which is costing them piles of money. They're spending tens of millions all over the country because they have to. Not because they want to, but because they have to. Normally, you'd like to keep your powder dry, keep your war chest unopened, but they've had to open it numerous times. They're going to have to keep doing that as long as Joe Biden is 81 years old, and that's not getting better, of course. He can't be 65. He can't be 55. That's the number they can't get around, 81. And it shows every single, now he's back to saying he was, nominated for the Naval Academy to play football. No, false. He drove an 18-wheeler. No, false. He beat up Corn Pop. Nope, that's false too. None of these things happened. He's a serial plagiarist. He is. He lies every place he goes. He has no credibility. Yes. People know it. And so when he comes around and says, I'm going to do this for you, do that for you, people are like, we've heard it. We've seen it. And the proof is in the pudding. And the pudding's not good, David.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's watery. It's watery pudding. So let's talk about this, because you said in the past that really Michigan is the linchpin in your mind. You believe whoever wins Michigan wins this thing. I'm just going to broaden this out to the Rust Belt states. Whoever tends to get the advantage in the Rust Belt states very likely will take this. But it seems to me what's really interesting is that President Trump is changing the paradigm in that he's putting the New Yorks, the New Jerseys, some of those traditional Democrat states in play, which ultimately could turn this thing on its head.
But it could. You're absolutely. I mean, if you look at the swing states, and I believe that's a great way to look at it, Terrence, because if you give all the swing states except those 3 Midwestern states to Donald Trump, he loses 270 to 268. If Joe Biden takes Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, he gets 270 exactly to Donald Trump's 268. But then again, a brand new poll out of New Hampshire shows Donald Trump with a razor-thin lead there. Those 4 electoral college votes could change the outcome altogether. If Virginia actually is in play and those 13 electoral college votes don't go to Biden, it changes everything. Same thing with Minnesota. You're exactly right. But the easiest way to the White House for Donald Trump is through Pennsylvania, which right now he has the best lead of any of those 3 states. He's up slightly in Michigan, a little bit less in Wisconsin, very razor-thin in Wisconsin. But in Minnesota, it's about a 2 to 3 point lead, consistent lead in Pennsylvania, And if he wins Pennsylvania and those 19 electoral votes, that's the easiest road to the White House for re-election for Donald Trump without question. But you're right about all states being in play, all the money being spent in other places. It turns the race on its head. And that's why Donald Trump, he has a swagger right now. He has a bold statement. He's going to places that Democrats never thought they'd see him go. He's going to places. It's the first time a Republican candidate for president has been in the Bronx since 1980 when Ronald Reagan did it. As I recall, Ronald Reagan won that election. Right. So these are important things to note, that he's going places that people have not gone decades. I think he should do Chicago. I think he should do Philadelphia.
Agreed.
I think he should do Los Angeles. Why not? Why not take it right to him? Is he going to win California? No. But to take it to him and raise money there, that is key. Plus the optics. People that see him in Los Angeles or Chicago,
there are a lot of closeted
they see it on
conservatives.
social media. Boom. Right? They say, I'm with that guy.
Yeah. And there are a lot of closeted conservatives in Los Angeles. So I would love to see them all come out in support. That's a great idea, Steve.
I think so. Look, take it to them. Play on offense. The best defense is a great offense, right? Go out there and win the game. And the way you're doing that is take the message to the people. And that means the biggest places possible. L.A., New York, Chicago, everywhere. That'd be my plan. And he's doing it. And he's doing a great job.